Going darker with your hair initially seems much easier than going lighter, and it's certainly not as damaging. But the truth is, the wrong hair dye formula can cause your hair to wind up muddy, green, or be really difficult to remove. Your starting hair, its history, gray percentage, and especially what you plan to do in the future to your hair all play a really big role in what hair dye formula you use to get you to your goal. So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to choose the right hair dye when going darker with using the same formulation process that I use as a hairstylist. You'll learn how to determine whether you should use permanent, demi-permanent, semi-permanent, how to select the right developer volume, how to cover grays if you have them, and how to fill the hair if you need to so that your hair doesn't wind up green. Hair dye formulation is one of the most complex parts of cosmetology, and my goal is to break that complexity down into a simple step-by-step process that you can follow. It's very rare that I use one tube of color out of the box from scalp to ends. The majority of the time, I'm mixing a few shades together as well as using a different formula for the roots as I do on the rest of the hair. But the good thing is there are basically an unlimited number of formulations that you can mix together to get to your goal, so don't get too hung up on the specifics here. Now, depending on your learning style, it may be easier for you to take this information in by reading a blog post. That way you can refer back to it as needed. So in the description, the first link is a link to the blog post that is the exact same information. Additionally, I will link a lot of different resources that dive a little bit deeper on each aspect of the process. So if you want a further understanding on the level system or filling the hair, you can find those below as well. And to make this process easier to follow along with, I'm going to use a before and after picture of my own hair, and I'll explain what I used and why to get to my goal. Step 1. Determine your starting hair color. First, you'll want to determine if it's an even or uneven canvas. You'll generally need a different formula for each different starting color. You'll want to determine the level and the tone of each color. The level refers to how light or dark it is on a scale from 1 being black, 10 being the lightest, and the tone refers to the shade of the hair. First, determine if it's warm, neutral, or cool. Then you'll determine if there's gray hair, what percentage of gray hair is there. Is it 25%, 50%, 75%, or 100% gray? Now, if you have highlights you're wanting to cover over the hair, just know that the color is not going to take the same over the dark hair as it is the highlights. You may choose to formulate each one differently and pick them out and color over the highlights separately, or you may choose to formulate a happy medium by formulating for each one and then meeting somewhere in the middle. And for a pro tip, if you're struggling to determine the level of the hair, I suggest taking a swatch chart, taking a photo of the hair, and viewing it in black and white. This is a great way to determine the level of the hair without the shade deceiving the eye. Warm colors often look a lot lighter than they are, and cool colors often look a lot darker. So viewing the image in black and white makes it a lot easier to see exactly what level you are. Okay, let's take a look at my example. So my hair is an uneven canvas. We've got 3 colors going on, but it is still solid, meaning it's not highlighted. My roots, while they may look darker in this image, are actually a level 7, and they are a cool neutral tone. And I do have some gray, but it is less than 25%. My mids are level 8, neutral. I had done a root smudge prior to blend these 2 colors together, so there is a middle color there. My ends are level 10 and they're neutral. Step 2, choose your desired hair color goal. If you can, narrow it down to a few pictures that you like and decide how flexible you are with the outcome. It helps to have a general idea of what you're going to be doing to your hair in the future, because if you plan on lightening your hair again in a few months, you're going to want to use a much different formula than if you're planning on staying dark for a prolonged period of time. Additionally, something to keep in mind is that dark hair does not always equal low maintenance. Sometimes coloring our hair darker, especially if we have grays, can actually mean high maintenance color. So you're first going to want to determine your commitment level. Do you want this to wash out quickly? Do you think you'll want to lighten your hair again in a few months? Or do you want to just stay dark? Next, you'll determine your maintenance level. Do you want to move towards no maintenance, low maintenance, or are you okay with a high maintenance color? Okay, next, determine if the color is solid or dimensional. Do you want the color to be darker at your roots and lighter on your ends? Do you want some paneling and dimension going on? If there are multiple different colors, you'll want to write down the level and tone for each different color. On the screen, I've put a hair color swatch guide, and this can kind of help you dissect your goal and determine what tones they are and what tones you like. Additionally, these are the bases that are generally underneath each tone. Here you can determine if the tone is cool, is it cool neutral, is it warm, as well as the base of that color. So ash is normally blue or green. Now this is just a generic chart that I had ChatGPT make for me. I highly suggest using the brand you're planning on using's chart. I can't put the brand's charts in my videos for copyright reasons, but I can put a link in the description that you can download. Okay, let's take a look at my example. So I've got two goal images, and it's actually the same hair, just in different lighting. So for my commitment level, while I do want to go darker, I may want to lighten the hair again in the future. So I don't want to do something that is going to be like irreversible. For maintenance, I want low maintenance. Ultimately, my goal is to grow a lot of my natural color out, maybe with some minimal highlighting. So I want the color to melt from my roots being darker to the ends being a little bit lighter. And I do want my color to be gradient. So I want a color melt that blends my natural roots into the lighter ends. Now the roots, they're level 7, natural neutral shade. And the mids and the ends are a level 8, cool neutral. More specifically, they're kind of beige, pearl, ashy. Step 3. Choose hair dye type and developer volume. So in this step, we're gonna determine if you should use permanent dye, demi-permanent, or semi-permanent dye, as well as what developer. Now, permanent dye does not mean that the dye is not going to fade. It actually has the same dye molecules that demi-permanent dye does. It does sometimes have ammonia added to it, but it is mixed with a higher developer volume, anywhere from 10 volume to 40 volume. And because of this, it shifts the natural pigment permanently. This exposes the underlying warmth in the hair, and the color will never be the same again until it grows out and is cut off. And once it does start to fade, it usually fades warm. So if you've ever dyed your hair dark and then it's gradually turned like kind of reddish, this is exactly why. Now, demi-permanent is similar to permanent, but it's always used with a lower developer volume, normally 5 or 6 volume, never higher. Because of this, it darkens the hair only. It does not lift the hair. So it doesn't expose that underlying warmth unless it is used with a higher volume. So if you use a demi-permanent with a 10 volume, you're basically using permanent color. Now, when permanent dyes are used with a 5 or 6 volume developer, they become a demi-like color. This is what I normally use as a stylist. I often mix Pravana's permanent line with 5 volume developer, and this makes it like a demi. Now, semi-permanent is also known as direct dye, and it is a completely different chemical composition than permanent and demi-permanent. It is not mixed with developer at all, so it does not shift that underlying pigment whatsoever. However, the hair does need to be light enough for that color to take. And for bright colors, sometimes the hair does need to be pre-lightened prior. Okay, so I'm gonna put on the screen a lot of different scenarios as well as what you should use for each scenario. Now for some pro tips, if you are using permanent dye, you'll want to use a lower volume at your roots than you do on the mids and the ends. This is going to prevent what we call hot roots, or the roots taking lighter and brighter than the rest of the hair. Virgin roots will always process faster or lighter than the mids and the ends, and this is because of the heat from your scalp. Now for covering stubborn grays, if you find you're trying to cover your grays and it's still just not covering well, you can pre-soften the gray by taking some color straight out of the tube and applying it to those gray hairs prior to coloring the hair. This works for me every time. All right, let's go over my example. So my hair is pre-lightened and I'm going back to natural. So when we look at our chart, I will use demi-permanent with 5 volume developer. Permanent dye with 10 volume developer would shift my natural roots, and it would create a line of demarcation, and the color would fade warm and unnatural looking, and I would be in quite a predicament. So I'm gonna use demi-permanent with 5 volume developer from roots to ends. And then if I wanted to, I can use a semi-permanent color depositing shampoo or conditioner to maintain the tone as it fades. Step 4. How to choose what shade to use when going darker. You might need to correct an unwanted tone, formulate for gray, or fill the hair if you're going significantly darker. Now, if you don't fit into any of these above scenarios, then you are just simply going to select your desired level and shade from the swatch chart in the line that you're using. Now for some pro tips, when you're darkening over a level 10 healthy hair, the result is often going to appear a little bit sheer and cool. And while filling the hair helps this immensely if you are depositing 3 or more levels, still not uncommon for the hair to appear a little sheer and fade quickly for several sessions. And even if you don't need to fill the hair, it's still a good idea to add a little bit of warmth to your formula just to avoid it from looking too dull. And so understand that similarly to how lightening the hair can take a few sessions to get there, darkening the hair is the same. Next is if your hair is very porous or damaged, it may suck up cool colors really strongly and dark. This can happen only to your ends if you have really damaged ends, so the ends can be like darker than the rest of your hair. In these cases, you'll want to use a lighter and a warmer formula for those ends than the rest. Perform a test strand first and see if this happens and if you need to do that or not. And lastly, keep in mind that there are many different formulas that you can try. This is the beauty of hair color. I often get really crazy and creative and I'm mixing all types of things together just to fine tune the color and come up with creations. So I suggest performing test strands to try different things and find out what you like the best. All right, now let's take a look at my example. So I have a lower commitment. I may want to lighten over this hair in the future. So I'm only gonna go 2 levels darker because I don't wanna fill the hair. I do not have any unwanted tones in the hair that I need to correct. There's no filler that I need to add, and I have less than 25% gray, so I don't fit into any of those special cases. So for my roots, I'm gonna use a level 7 with cool neutral tones. For my mids, this is going to be the meeting point of the root color blended in to the ends color. Not gonna formulate separately, I'm just gonna mix the two together here. And for the ends, I'm gonna use a level 8 with cool neutral tones, with a little bit of warmth added to avoid the color from looking too dull. Since the hair is a level 10, it will have the tendency to look a little cool and dull. So on the screen is what I use personally to get to this exact color. I know the lighter color has 4 different colors added. You don't have to do this, you can simplify it much more, but I just like to get really creative. Okay, so now you have a formula or maybe a few different formulas to try. It's so important to know that even the most perfected formula can sometimes produce unexpected results. And the only way to guarantee how your color is going to come out is by doing a test strand. Even as professionals, we do these regularly. So if you are DIYing your hair at home, this is a must. This should never be skipped. Now, I strongly recommend sticking with one line from start to finish throughout the process rather than mixing brands together. Every manufacturer has their own shade system and chemistry, and sometimes one brand's level 6 is a little lighter or darker than another's, but the formulation process that you'll learn throughout this video will work for whatever brand you use. For darkening the hair, I prefer Pravana, and this is because I trained with them to become an educator, so I know their line really well. But for semi-permanent colors, I prefer Celeb Luxury because they have some really great color depositing shampoos and conditioners that are super easy to use. And I'm gonna put some links in the description for both of these brands, but you can use whatever brand you want. The formulation process you'll learn in this video stays the same. All right, guys, so I've really done my best here to try to break this really complex process down into a simple step-by-step process for you to follow. And the truth is I can't cover every single scenario and exact situation, but please leave me your questions in the comments and I will do my best to respond to everybody to try to give you tips on what you should do. So leave me your questions in the comments and make sure you subscribe if you want to make every day a good hair day.